Put him down. Put him down. I'm not looking up.
3, 2,
Welcome back to the Agony of Positivity podcast. I am Ross, and returning from the solar mines from microphone interference is
Saul.
Yes. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know what solar mines would actually be.
I don't know, but yeah, well, I apologize to all the people who tried to listen to last week's episode and said it was garbage because I could not hear myself at all.
The what should be because like once it was over, because I could hear you decently, like while we were talking, and I was like, because I had mentioned to you like, I was, something's a little bit up with the mic, but I didn't think it would be that bad. And then on the actual recording, like I tried a few different things to clean it up, and it got better, but it was way worse than I thought it was. So
Sure. Yeah, it was terrible.
because if I thought it was going to be that bad, I would just been like, maybe switch mics.
Sure.
But yeah, what can you do? So how's the week been going? It's the week after Thanksgiving.
Been pretty good. No complaints, I guess. Yeah, I can't really think of anything, which is good, I guess.
Right? Yeah, nothing stands out. Yeah, I've had a pretty standard week. People like to destroy restrooms, is what I've learned at my job, where they just they'll rip out paper towels, like the big paper towel roll, throw it in the toilet, and then throw it in the trash. I don't know why people do just destructive things, but sorry, you were about to say.
I did go to a live nativity thing last night, at a church that I've never been to. We were just driving last night.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey, they're doing a live nativity scene. Want to go there? And my wife's like, sure. So we went over there and did that. About 20 minutes. The acting is what you expect from a non.
Christoph Waltz was not at the local church for the nativity scene.
Yeah, their acting is something to be desired, and a couple times, this one lady, I felt sorry for her. It was an older lady, and she's like, I don't even remember my lines because I don't even know what to say. She goes, "Go that way. There's a baby that way." Because what they did, it was like a walk through
Okay.
town of Bethlehem or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he started at Caesar doing his decree for his census taking.
Yeah.
And then you would just travel along the road to what was happening during all that time.
You know,
And
I like the premise of that.
sure, I
Like,
mean
that's a little
it
bit
was a
better
neat
than
premise.
just stand there and. Because a lot of times
Watching.
I've seen where it's like the manger scene, but it's just like people, and they can usually get like a camel, or
yes.
sometimes you'll see like somebody has a Great Dane that's dressed up like a camel.
Yes.
What do you think if they were to do a nativity scene?
Yeah.
With audience voting for Choose Your Own Adventure?
That'd be pretty neat, I guess.
I mean, it would be a lot of work to have all the different scenarios that you could lay out. I mean, obviously, you could be prepared either way and kind of know which way people are going to vote.
Sure. There's this one part where the angel tells Joseph what was getting ready to happen, and all this because they rigged up this thing where it's like you just see all these weeds, not weeds. It's like cattails,
Okay.
like all lined up. Okay, and then all of a sudden you hear something moving in the weeds, and I was like, because it was really reminiscent of like a raptor attack or something like Jurassic Park. you hear all this stuff shuffling, and they had some kind of rig where this little kid, he had to have been like 7 or whatever, was an angel, okay? And they hoisted him up in the air. He's like, "Behold!" And he was getting all into it because they had like a light behind him and everything. And he's
Yeah.
like, "Behold, I bring you good tidings." It was just funny.
Did it run into the issue though, where like that kid was super into it, and a lot of the other people just weren't into it?
Yes.
they were just like, well, they needed to fill a spot, so.
And then when they lowered him down, I think he fell off because he deserved like a bunch of like blood happening, and kids like.
And then the Raptors got him.
Yes, it was just funny, but it was all right. They had the torches out. They had like fires everywhere.
Yeah, we had, what was it? We did like Kings Island, the amusement park around us. I don't even know if that's what it's called anymore. They got the Festival of Winter or Lights, or
yes,
basically come give us money, spend $13 for a cup, and then we'll fill it up with hot chocolate for you.
Yes.
Which is basically just hot chocolate syrup. Still good, but it's like, dude, I can feel like the diabetes just lurking in this cup as I drink it.
The guy that we used to work with went there one year. I went there with him.
Yeah.
And he bought that cup that for like hot chocolate. And I guess I don't know if they still do it, but during that year you could get free refills in the cup.
This year, I don't know if like the first day you buy it, you get refills for free, and then you can bring it back, and it's $1 for refills.
Okay, well, so that night it was like a free refill for whatever reason. And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna get my money's worth because this thing costs $13 or whatever it was." And he drank 6 cups of like hot chocolate to the point where he was sick. I mean, he's like, "Oh, I shouldn't have drank all that." I was like, "Yeah, you think?"
It's like like the old McDonald's milkshakes in the before time, where it was out of the machine was different than it is now, but it had that like chocolatey syrup taste the more it got melted. It's basically that, but hot, I'm pretty sure.
Sure.
And it's good, but like I think I paid $13 or whatever for the cup because we plan on going back at least once or twice.
Sure.
And I got like 2 refills on it total. And I was like, I mean, for amusement park prices for hot chocolate, that was reasonable.
Yeah.
And it felt okay. I did not feel the need to be like, I need 6.
Well, he drank 6, and he has and he has diabetes too. I was like, dude, I'm like, that can't be good for you. He's like, "Oh, I'll be all right." I'm like, "I'm gonna get my money's worth out of this." I'm like, yeah, and
even if it kills me.
It's like, yeah, and an appointment to the emergency room while you're at it.
Be like, his blood's been replaced with this chocolate substance. What's going on? Let's see. Oh, I do want to. I have something to complain about.
Okay.
So, although they are friendly to AEW, I hate them now. Cracker Barrel.
Okay.
So we did for Thanksgiving like the hot and now meal or whatever, where you can pick it up. But we did it on Wednesday. Like, we didn't order it on Thanksgiving because I'm not a huge fan of people having to work on Thanksgiving. But we were like, man, that was so good. We decided to order it again on Sunday.
Okay.
And we were like, the sides, we ran out because we got 3 of us and we're apparently side monsters. But so my wife had ordered it, and she got a couple things of mashed potatoes to go with it and an extra side of macaroni and cheese.
Okay.
Well, we go pick it up, find out they shorted us a side of macaroni and cheese. It's supposed to come with one, and she had an extra. Over the phone, they're basically saying that we're liars about this, and we're going to have to go up there to get it straightened out. Now, the hope was they would look at it and be like, "Oh yeah, we only gave them one, we messed up." But they kept saying, someone in the background on the phone, which we assume is a manager, was like, "Oh, they didn't get charged, they didn't get charged, so we were going to have to go up there." So we're pretty irritated because we thought the solution would be, oh, we can give you the money back, or oh, okay, well, come and pick it up in a little bit. That way, we would have eaten because we had enough to eat, but we wanted extra for the leftover time. So, well, instead of being able to just go pick it up at our leisure in like an hour or two, we're now having to go up there and argue with them is what we're expecting. So you
got the night of the manager having a rough day, and she wants to make sure everyone has a rough day.
Well, this was noon, so
right, rough life then.
Yeah. So we go back, and they're like, "Oh, you're here for the macaroni and cheese," and it's like, well, this is a very different attitude that we're getting than what we got over the phone. Yeah. So we talked to someone. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're bringing it out." I'm like, "Okay." At this point, we're pretty irritated. So we talked to the manager, and my suspicion is the manager we were speaking to was the one in the background saying they weren't charged for it, and then realized that he was incorrect since we were coming up there. Talked to him, and then really wasn't satisfied with the they didn't seem to care that our food was at home getting cold, and that they were idiots in the way they handled it. Talked to the store manager. So we ended up with like a card for like 2 meals and 2 drinks at Cracker Barrel, which it's funny because on the first day we got the food, my wife had pointed out, she was like, "Man, this is way better than Cracker Barrel's normal food," because we don't particularly care for Cracker Barrel, but they were one of the only. They were our other option for the hot meal that we were going to try out initially was Bob Evans, but they keep being closed because they don't have enough staff. So it was like, we don't want to order the food and then be closed. Yeah. So we went with Cracker Barrel because we've never seen them closed, but it's like, I don't know if we're ever going to use those coupons. So talked to the store manager, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't know about all this phone business," which I don't know if that's true or not, but it's like, yeah, this whole thing is absolutely stupid. Be like, this could have been resolved on the phone, but now we're here wasting everybody's time. So I want to, basically, I want to waste your time if I'm going to have my time wasted. Sure. But so we got like a coupon thing, and then they were supposed to give us the money back for the macaroni and cheese, which was like $12 or whatever for the, because it's one of those big sides. But it's like really irritating. Well, I don't know if we got the money back. And then they also gave us an extra side of macaroni and cheese. So now we had 3 of these huge pans of macaroni and cheese, and it's like, well, that's a nice gesture. We're not going to eat that much macaroni and cheese, like, ever. I think we ate like 1.5 pans.
I would have give you like extra potatoes, whatever other side you got. I would give you another side of that.
Or here's a better idea. When we called on the phone, be like, look at what's going on, and be like, oh, well, these people just spent $130. I doubt they're trying to scam us for a side of mashed potatoes. Hey, or a side of macaroni and cheese. Perhaps they really didn't get what they should have, and now our options are give them their money back because they didn't get it, but that wasn't a choice because they kept saying we weren't charged, even though we were. And then the other option is, oh, yeah, well, you guys can come up in a little while and pick that up if you want to. Not, they're going to have to come up here because they weren't charged over and over. And then completely change your tune when you get there. So, Cracker Barrel, you suck. I just want to get that out there. I'm going to tag you when we put the show up, and I want people to know your failures.
I don't like Cracker Barrel food. I have tried, and I don't understand why the Young Bucks and Kenny likes it. I don't like it. Because the service is terrible, and the food is, I don't know, I just feel like somebody could just get out of like a TV dinner sometimes.
My biggest complaint with Cracker Barrel, I hope this show just is like an hour of us burying Cracker Barrel because I'm still irritated by this. So my grandparents liked Cracker Barrel. We ate there. I was never wildly impressed with it, but it was
Yeah.
edible. But I would choose something different. The time I tried it where I was like, I'm never eating here again, is I kept seeing this stuff about generous portions over and over. And I think I got like some kind of like ham thing. And the amount of food that came out was laughable.
Sure.
Like, in no world would you call that a generous portion at that time. Now, this is like a long time ago. And then we've gone there a few times since then, and it's always unremarkable. It's not bad, but like you said, like at the store I frequented, if you can call it that, service wasn't that great, but it wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't. The service is not what kept me away from Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
I will say that. It was the food. So, but we assumed that they probably outsourced the holiday meal because it was way better than anything they've ever made.
Yeah.
Because, they're garbage. And then and now I'm irritated with their issue resolution because they created the issue.
Sure.
Like, now granted, I've worked service industry an awful lot in my life, so I'm pretty quick to come up with, what would have been a perfect solution for this? Because I can come up with like multiple. What you guys did, not one. So, in case Cracker Barrel's listening, yes, don't have someone in the background saying they paid, they're going to have to come up here over and over, even though we offer you the order number to look it up to see what happened. And then when we get there, you pretend that never happened. And then, or just don't care. Now, granted, to be fair, it was lunchtime on a Sunday. So they had a lot going on. I get that. But again, you know what eliminates that entire problem?
Yep.
And then they had some guy claiming that he found like chewed gum on his daughter's food dish as I was leaving from like a day before. But that felt real, like, that did not feel like a legitimate thing. Because he was, I don't know, like, whatever was going on with that story, I was like, I've seen a lot of, like, bad service things, but I've never seen someone spit chewed gum onto someone's plate.
Yeah.
Just because that's so easily provable.
Sure.
But yeah, they had a lot going on, so I understand that. But hey, guess what? Tell us you'll give us the money back over the phone or pick it up later. We're not even there, making your life more difficult.
Yeah, it was definitely a situation where they could have they could have handled it a lot better. Yeah.
But now I'm going to find an old person who's going to be super difficult and give them the Cracker Barrel voucher that we have.
Speaking of old people that are difficult, so earlier this week I had to go to this house. The guy I work with, the lady wanted her circle rug. That's how she described it on the phone. Circle rug that's in the dining room, cleaned before Christmas.
It's under a petrified wood table that you guys are going to have to move off.
So the way she described it was like, oh, it's a table. I'm able to move it around, and I'm like 70, so I know you guys could be able to do it. And the guy I work with said, okay, that's fine.
There's zero chance that she's ever moved this table, is what I'm going to guess.
Unless she's a bodybuilder. I don't know how. Unless she has some kind of like X-Men strength. We get there, and this table, we go up to it, and it's a circle table, and I pick it up, and I'm looking at it like, there's no way. Yeah. There's no way that she moves this table.
Did you like, hey, I want to see you move this thing around?
No, I wanted to.
I think I
go
would
up
have.
to it. I go up to it, and I do the the lift tests that you always do. See how much energy you're going to put forward into it.
Yeah, where you do like the fingertips on it and be like, is this going to lift up easy or?
Well, so I did the finger. I was like, I'm like, oh, that ain't gonna work. So then I put a little bit more muscle into it. I'm like, well, that ain't gonna work. And I look at the guy I work with. I was like, there's no way, man. I mean, this thing has to weigh like 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I move it all the time. And I'm looking at her and like, no, you don't. No, you don't.
I would have had her move it.
Well, the guy I worked with was like, he's like, well, how do you move it? She goes, well, I just typically just slide it. He's like, I don't really want to slide it because I'll damage the carpet.
Right.
And she's like, well, I do have some skidders. He's like, so you move it with skidders then? Well, she goes, she goes, if I'm being honest, I haven't moved it probably in a couple years. Like, yeah, you've never moved this.
Like, come over here and refresh yourself with how heavy it is.
Oh yeah. So anyway, we fought with this thing, and it, yeah, that was a fun time.
I am super glad. While I miss working with you because it was fun, I do not miss moving the furniture that people had.
Yeah.
Largely because my back was junk, so bending over always hurt.
Sure.
One way or the other, but it was always such a pain. Be like, oh well, we got these anvils over here, and then we got this this crate of spent uranium that we need moved out of the way.
Well, the good thing about the job, I will say this, it does provide a lot of burst energy, and I hear burst energy is the best type of exercise that you actually want to get in shape because
the high intensity training.
Yeah. So I'll give it that. It does have a lot of that going.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, it's not repetitious enough, I think, to keep it your heart rate up. It's just enough to be irritated, and then your pants are wet from kneeling on the carpet. So,
Sure.
All right. Well, enough of that, I suppose. You want to jump into the real show?
Sure.
All right. Let me do this. I want to make a note here because we went pretty long on our intro today. So I have a Hearthstone story I can tell. We can do Dynamite. You have checked out the new episodes of He-Man.
Yeah, He-Man, Hawkeye.
What do you want to go into?
Well, since you actually want to see Hawkeye and He-Man, I don't know if I should really go too in depth with that. So I can do that first if you want me to.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll just kind of gloss over it a little info, but not super spoilery. So here we go.
Sure.
Something that could never ever possibly destroy us. Mr. Stay Puft.
You chose poorly. You have chosen wisely.
All right. So I guess let's start. So you watched 2 episodes of He-Man?
Yes.
So now I have not looked anything up online at all about it because I didn't even know it was out until you sent me the message. Is it just picking up right where we left off after the first part? Has there been online outrage over it yet?
I don't know. I'm not really.
Okay.
As you just said, I didn't know it was coming out again. I thought everyone was canceled it or whatever.
Right. Yeah, they were so angry that the most overpowered character in the show wasn't in it nonstop, taking care of all the problems.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a weird one because if I remember, we both thought it was okay. Like when we were done with it.
I mean,
like,
yeah.
But again, we're used to like Dragon Ball stuff where the character you really want to see do stuff. I'm pretending Goku is that character for me.
Yes.
You keep them out as much as you can because they're going to solve the problem. So He-Man typically is the problem solver in He-Man universe. So you remove He-Man for a while and actually build your other characters. So
Sure.
I don't think we had like I think everybody was mostly angry that it was about a woman instead of He-Man is what I would.
Well, and I don't think they understood the role of that woman because even in
significant.
even in the cartoons that we watched as a kid, she had that role.
Yeah,
that was her job to guard Prince Adam. So I don't know what the big deal was.
I think people just wanted to be outraged again because anytime you look at social media stuff, it's like, such a small group can be so loud, it seems like it's a bigger issue than it really is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But so from the two that you've seen, so we're picking up right where we left off.
Yeah.
Are you liking it?
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy it. So I'll just sum it up.
Yeah.
What I've seen in the first two episodes. It's basically, it shows you what happens when He-Man says the words without having the sword to conduct it, basically.
I feel like that would either be super bad, nothing would happen, or just pure chaos. Like Orko becomes He-Man somehow.
I think the best way to describe this, the way I texted to you, was imagine monkey form of the Saiyans, and that's pretty much what you get.
Yeah. So it's basically chaos. Like, just it does not go well.
Well, to the point of where Skeletor is taking on this thing, and he's like, "Get this thing off me," because it is just laying into him. And I mean, yeah.
So is it like a more savage form, I guess?
Without giving too much away, yeah, I would say it's just pure power. That's all it is.
Okay. Well, that's
like
interesting.
Like I said, Skeletor, because he's like a god at this point.
Yeah.
It's just like he's just overwhelmed. He's like, "Get this thing off me." So.
All right. So, well, that's good though that they're picking up where it left off. I'm guessing they probably had it all done at once and then just put it out in two separate things. Yeah.
Could be.
Because is it still considered season 1 or is it season 2?
Oh, season 2.
Huh. Because they put it out pretty quick. I feel like they probably had 2 ready to go because it was a short.
Could be.
But I don't know timetable turnaround. Now, is it the same art style?
Yes, everything's the same as the current season.
Okay, because I really like the art style. I thought that was good. Like, yeah, overall I liked the first part or season 1. So I don't know. It was one of those super weird ones where everybody was kind of the same thing happened with Ghostbusters 2016 for us.
Sure.
Where we were expecting to just hate it, and then it was like, I mean, it wasn't good, but the reasons people were angry about it were not. Again, if they would have had one of the other Ghostbusters in the beginning, and this is a franchise, that movie is completely different, but it's the same. Yeah. You could do the exact same movie with that one little thing, and I think it would have had a totally different reception.
Funny thing that you mentioned that because we have another Ghostbusters to review.
Yeah, I need to watch that. I have heard weird mixed things when I've checked in with people, where some are like, "Oh, it's okay," and others are like, "I don't know if it was good or bad."
which is always something you want in a movie.
It's like when you eat like a piece of food that just has no flavor.
Yes.
Like the cornbread that they gave us at Cracker Barrel, which the cornbread is an actual Cracker Barrel product and not from whatever company made the good food that we had.
Yeah.
Cracker Barrel's getting buried for the rest of this podcast and future episodes. I just want you to be aware.
Anything with Paul Rudd and kids, I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's what I don't like kid movies. I don't like Goonies because I didn't watch Goonies at the correct time frame in my life.
It never interested me.
I might have got into it, but like if I knew the people I know now when I was a kid and we were all friends and the Goonies movie came out, I could see where we would all love it and we'd go try to explore because, but that was not the world I was in at the time. And I mean, we didn't see a ton of movies growing up. And obviously I don't watch a ton of movies now. So.
Well, because I remember as a kid, I had, if I had an option of watching the Goonies or Raiders of the Lost Ark, I'm just going to choose Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Well, I mean, Raiders of the Lost Ark is a very good movie, even with the fact that Indiana Jones did not need to be present. which is the most sad adult thing I've ever realized, or what a bummer of a take on that movie. But it is technically true.
Sure.
But okay, so Hawkeye.
Yep.
So you have described this to me as what Arrow could have been or should have been.
No, that could have been. Should have been.
But yeah, so is it like after Endgame timeline?
Yeah, it's right
or?
after Endgame.
Okay.
Yeah. Because Black Widow is still dead. Spoiler alert.
Right.
The film was dead. So,
if you don't
Black
know
Widow's...
about that, I don't no. I don't feel bad if that got spoiled. If you've been holding off on Endgame until now,
Sure.
what are you doing?
So Hawkeye's very beat up. That aspect's kind of cool, I guess. Kind of annoying too. He has like a hearing aid. He has to wear. So it makes more shenanigans happen, I guess, because of issues.
Basically, so what he was doing in the downtime, basically, where he was out for vengeance, I guess.
Well, no, because they somebody asked them. They're like, "So why do you get to wear a hearing aid?" And then he kind of does that movie cutscene stare,
Yeah.
where he just shows you all the stuff he's done in the Avengers and everything else, where the explosions are happening. He's like crashing through windows. I mean, it just, you're like, I guess I see it.
Right.
Why you would be losing your ear. So.
You know what they could have done for that cutscene instead? Is
What?
show Tony Stark, another spoiler here, Tony Stark dying.
Sure.
Basically because he could have just made something that was like a nanobot that would go in his ear and he'd hear like normal without the hearing aid.
Yes.
That's the real reason is Tony Stark is dead for now.
Yes. Pretty much, yep. Tony Stark is dead until Disney needs some help reviving their terrible Marvel franchise. So.
It definitely doesn't have the oomph that it did for a while there. But again, they built up and paid off like a really good story.
Sure.
Anything they do after that, like, it's going to take a while. Like,
well, I mean, because I think this one guy pretty much sums it up. He's like, the problem that Marvel's going to have is you pretty much got rid of two major characters in Marvel with Captain America and Iron Man.
yeah.
I mean, and it doesn't matter what kind of actors that you have or, what the characters are. Even in the comic books, without Iron Man and Captain America holding all the glue together, it's just not good. So.
Yeah. And I mean, you could get, like, because people are hyped about Spider-Man, but Spider-Man does not feel like the rest of them, like, I don't know, probably because he's been isolated for so long. Even with him interacting with the other stuff, it feels different. Like,
yeah, I mean, you're going to have to get a buzz going. You're going to have to bring back the X-Men, I think.
correctly. Bring them back correctly.
Well, yes, correctly, yes.
Or here's an idea. Now, I'm not a fan of this idea because I don't want to suffer through it ever again in my life, but the Fantastic Four would be a good group because you have a strong villain in Doctor Doom.
Sure.
Like, I would almost... So if it was me... Now, I'm going to point out that I am not a fan of the Fantastic Four in any way, shape, or form.
Yes.
I would seriously bring in the Fantastic Four just to have Doctor Doom destroy them. So you get Doctor Doom, but he is not saddled to the Fantastic Four. He can just be the new Thanos type role. Maybe add in where some Silver Surfer action where he's got like do the whole he gets like Silver Surfer's power or whatever.
Yeah.
Something like that. Because you could do... They haven't done... Or did they do Galactus in the real Marvel universe? They haven't done that, have they?
No.
That was just the horrible Fantastic Four thing.
That's the horrible Fantastic Four.
So yeah, you could do... Well, there you go. You build to Galactus, and then you follow that up with Doctor Doom. But Galactus, also, do not saddle him to the Fantastic Four. They are side characters at best because they're not interesting.
Yeah.
There's nothing the most interesting thing Ben Grimm ever did was get his face messed up by Wolverine.
I think. See, everyone keeps talking about Galactus. I think I think Galactus will be hard to do in a movie. I think it'll be goofy. I don't know. I just don't see how you could do it.
I think they could. Did you ever read the books? So I can't remember what it was called for Marvel now, but it was like all the art was actual paintings as opposed to just normal comic work, and I think they did Galactus in that. And I could be wrong, but you could almost use that as like a storyboard for how to do it.
Okay.
And I mean, there's nothing to say that there's not like. I still think you need Galactus as a giant, in some capacity, but
the cloud.
Yeah, not that. Don't do that. That was dumb.
Yeah.
I understand it, but it's dumb. Like,
Yeah.
no. I mean, he could always have like a normal human size form that he's interacting with people with, but yeah,
well, because if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that the Ultimate Universe?
Yeah, I think that's how they did it.
The form,
yeah. And for the most part, I thought the Ultimate Universe was great, but I did not care for that Galactus. Like, it's just dumb to me.
Yep.
I want a 40-story tall man, because that is not dumb. That is way more believable to me than a cloud monster.
Sadly, yes.
But yeah, I would go, like, if not Galactus, I feel like Doctor Doom is probably the most. Man, the monologue. If you got somebody good to be Doctor Doom, he could just monologue for half the movie about how Doom will not be placated by the home version of Jeopardy or something.
You would have to get a really good actor to play Doom. You couldn't just, you couldn't just do a crappy actor.
It would either have to be a nobody or somebody good, but I don't know who you make Doom.
I mean, it would have to be a nobody that's really on their game,
right?
That does the whole what was it called? Where they pretend that they're that character.
Oh yeah, so we basically just need The Rock, but instead of saying The Rock, he just says Doom.
No.
Doom does not care what your name is.
Because we just said we need a good actor, and The Rock is not a good actor.
Yes, but he's excellent at talking in third person. So
sure, I mean we can get another method actor to do that.
Oh man, how irritating would that be? Like, you're just waiting in line at the catering table with like all the other extras and stuff, and some guy just shoves you out of the way. It's like, Doom will not wait in line behind you for croissants.
You just tell everybody, like, this guy, he's in the role, so just go with it. If he pretends to be Doom, whatever.
Oh man, that would be. I would love to be on set to watch whoever it is just Doom all the time.
When they're doing press conferences, Doom will not answer these questions.
You dare insult Doom's intelligence? Oh man, he's in the armor and everything, the cloak.
Yeah, he never leaves it. Be great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want so much as where he actually like molds the metal onto his face, but
or maybe you do. Maybe you do.
I mean, that might be the secret sauce to Doom being great.
Yeah.
So, so I totally took us down like a totally crazy tangent there. But so, have you finished like all of Hawkeye, or is Hawkeye like a week-to-week release?
It's a week-to-week.
Okay. How far in is it?
Because Disney likes to piss people off.
Well, they just want you to open the app at least once a week.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll start watching other stuff.
It's on the 3rd episode.
Okay. So I'm not too far behind. I could get caught up. Or I could do like The Mandalorian, where I wait till it's almost midway and then do it. How long do we got till Book of Boba Fett?
I have no idea. I mean, I've seen previews for it.
Yeah. Still weird seeing him in armor that's not all messed up.
I don't know. Disney Star Wars is just
It's
left a
in
bad taste in my
December.
mouth.
The 29th apparently
Yeah.
is the first date of it.
So the joy and excitement I had of like, well, maybe Disney will do something. Yeah, it just left a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah. All right, so we got that. If you don't care, I'd like to talk about Hearthstone for just a second.
I guess, Ross. I guess.
All right.
Get over here! Time's up. Let's do this.
All right. So, I think I mentioned it on a previous week where I was thinking about trying to hit Legend in Hearthstone.
You did.
So I actually accomplished that. Now, it was in Wild, not Standard, which I was trying to read. So I got some stats here just because if anyone is interested in playing Hearthstone and trying to hit Legend in Wild, obviously there's a new set coming next week. So everything's going to be different. But I got some information to give for it. But yeah, some people seem to think that Standard is harder, and a few people thought Wild was harder. Once I looked at the stats, I'm going to say Standard is probably going to be harder than what Wild was.
Sure.
Because it seemed, until I got to the very end where you got to get, when you're Platinum or Diamond 1 or whatever it is before you hit the Legend, you got to get like all the wins in a row. You have no win streaks at that point. And there were multiple times that I had like max stars. I needed one more win, and then I lost. And then you got, so lose one, you got to win two. Like it got, mentally, it could be a challenge, I suppose, especially if you go on a losing streak. And it seems like in Standard, that's more likely to happen. But so I started out, I'm pretty sure like bronze 10 or 5 or something. So like, I mean, I was like far down at the beginning of the season. So it took me, I played the same deck the whole time. Basically it's the Quest Hunter, where you end up like, if you remember when like Shadow Priest Anduin was a thing, where he had like his Death Knight card and then he'd just like ability you down at the end because he just, but it's basically that, but on turn 6 is what the Hunter deck does.
Nice.
So I had a 71% win rate, which I feel like is incredibly high. I went 109, like 109 wins and 45 losses. So you're looking at like 155 games, because I'm sure there's one or two that maybe I didn't have the tracker on for. But so it says that the average game length was 5 minutes and 7 turns. So in general, by turn 7, the game was over. I remember multiple times turn 6 I was winning. So the only card that I really changed, like if you go to like HS Replay or any of the, they pretty much all have like the same deck. It initially had a secret plan in it, which is where you can, it's 1 mana and you can pick like a secret and then have it. I switched to this resizing pouch card, which however much mana you have left after playing it, you discover a card from that cost. But it kept giving me minions, and that's not what you're looking for. And then there's the legendary Spear of Sapience, which is like legendary neutral weapon, where you basically can draw a card. Like at the beginning of your turn, you can draw your card, but if you don't like it, you can draw another card instead. So that worked real good because I'm looking for very specific spells out of the deck to complete the quest line, basically. So that was really the only changes in the deck throughout it. I guess this would be kind of interesting, but again, so it took like, it says it was like 13 hours total of playtime, but I mean it felt very easy. This deck, biggest problem was like Druid, I was 50-50, Paladin, I was 50-50 against, and everything else I had like a positive win rate, and that includes like Pirate Warrior, which is pretty much all you see in Wild. Like I don't think I saw a single non-Pirate Warrior deck, but I was a
Okay.
67.5% win rate against it.
Okay.
Like, so, yeah, this deck was just really, really strong. Let's see. And then, like, the percentage, like, this kind of surprised me. Like, 24% of my games were against Warrior. 14% were against Mage and Priest. Towards the top, I don't think I saw anything other than Warrior and Druid. Like, I basically played other Hunters, Warrior, or Druid. But, yeah, Warrior was just, it was all over the place. But, yeah, so put in the time, got the card back. That was exciting. But, yeah, I don't think, because it just kind of happened where it was like, man, it's pretty early in the month and I'm pretty far along on this. Maybe I'll try this. And then, you know, basically had 4 days off because of Thanksgiving. So it's like, well, I actually don't have a ton to do.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to try to do this. And then I did it. And then,
My life is better for it.
I mean, I just kind of wanted the card back. There is a part of me that wants to try to do it in standard just
Do it in
because. So, what was kind of weird, because you don't see it in standard a lot. Again, I haven't played a ton of standard lately. But I did see the same people a few times.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought I was just going to be playing like the same 4 people over and over. But there was really only there are 2 people that I saw 3 or 4 times. Like once I got towards the top end over the course of a day or so. But it was only like a couple times. So, because I always think it's crazy when I queue in. Like if I queue into the same person, I'm always surprised by it.
In Classic, I see the same 2 people a lot in Classic.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're in the same tier. Because I think I'm a Diamond, maybe.
Yeah.
Or Platinum, or whatever it's called. I don't know.
Yeah. Whatever's after gold.
Yeah, so I'm in that section, and I keep playing Peanut Butter. It's the one person's name, and I want to say, I forget what it's called, but it was like some kind of Marvel-ish name. But anyway, I play these same people over and over again, and this one person that I've played a bunch of times, and it's one of those bots that that has
Hero
the auto
power.
clicker.
Yeah.
And I guess they get so high because people just don't want to deal with it.
They're like, I'm going to get to legend by people conceding to me. Yeah, are they just playing like Warrior, where it's just like armor up every turn?
No, it's they play Druid for some reason.
Huh. And just
just
hero power every turn and rope.
Yep, hero power rope. So, and I'm like, well, I'll just sit right here and I'll. When I do it, I play on my days off or whatever. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll waste 30 minutes here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you do get, because I mean, I assume they're just experience farming. To get that.
So what's the whole honor system now? What's up with that?
So, do you remember when you logged in and you had to pick Horde or Alliance?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you picked Horde, you're Horde. If you picked Alliance, you're considered an Alliance player. When you fight other people, like you might have noticed they got like the Alliance or the Horde item or whatever. You basically like burning through honor points to unlock stuff. It's kind of dumb, I guess. Like,
okay,
I just don't know.
Yeah, I'm like, because I remember doing all that. I just didn't pay attention to it, I guess. I'm just like, oh, they're trying to do some kind of new thing.
Yeah. I picked Alliance. Because again, I like modern conveniences like floors as opposed to dirt. I'm not even gonna go that far. I'm just saying like an actual floor as opposed to the dirt. You know, that's level, like, you know. So, but I should pick the other.
So if you're going up against an army, I guarantee you're going to want somebody from the Horde on your team. If this
Probably.
was real life,
Oh yeah.
you're going to want that savageness of the Horde that they bring.
Yes. Well, they probably wouldn't be so savage if they embraced architecture. But yeah, like I think like the end result is you end up like unlocking like some cards and stuff like that, and then they're doing like a thing like whichever side wins, you get like a diamond version of one of the cards. So I will say, have you looked at any of the new cards for the upcoming? Some of the cards, I don't think I'm gonna do it, but I'm thinking about I might actually buy some of the packs for this expansion.
Okay.
I can't decide because last one I had zero desire to. This one, some of the cards actually seem interesting to me.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think, cause did you buy the Tavern Pass like for the XP game on this one, or was that last one?
Oh, so I bought so when I say I bought the Tavern Pass, I guess they gave it to me because Blizzard turned on my subscription again. Remember how I explained about that a couple weeks ago?
Yep.
So because my subscription was turned on, they gave me the Tavern Pass.
Yeah, that's the one for like where you get the XP and you get the gold, right?
Yep. Maybe they had to because I have not bought anything for Hearthstone.
Right.
I've not bought anything for Hearthstone. So
because I was trying to find out, I'm at like level 177 on that. And I was looking to try to see, because there's a couple cool things it looks like on the next one. And I was like, is that worth buying? And I was trying to find something that says how many levels you need to get like the extra gold, to where it's like, well, this $20 is worth, like I'm getting X amount of gold. Plus, they give you like the cosmetic stuff. But trying real hard to decide on that, because if you're going to do it, you need to buy it early on because it doesn't retro anything.
Yeah. Because I have like 33,000 gold. So.
Man, I have almost 10,000. But I use that for the Battlegrounds pass, so I spent like 2 there. I might have got the mini set this time with gold.
Gotcha.
And then like before last expansion, I think I bought like some cards with gold. But yeah, like the gold gain is pretty good. Like it turns out the XP pass or whatever they call it works out pretty good for gold if you're playing I would guess a reasonable amount. But yeah, so okay, yeah, no, I'm seriously considering giving them money again, but I'm not sure.
How dare you give it to this evil corporation?
So, funny thing about the evil Blizzard Corporation is a lot of the podcast stuff I listen to, people are getting really into like Riot games like League of Legends, because they got like the Arcane show and things like that. And it always makes me laugh. Like, now these people are not guilty of it, but there are people that I've known in my life that were like, I just can't. Blizzard is just so horrible. I can't support them. And then they started going and playing like League of Legends, and it's like, well, Tencent is like a large holder of them, which is China. If you have a problem with what Blizzard is doing, man, like, I have bad news.
It's a whole generation, dude.
Yeah.
they get loud, they get annoyed about stuff, but they don't read about other stuff that they support and say, well, no, they're just as bad. They just don't get. They have a better PR person that keeps that stuff in the wraps.
Well, you're not allowed to criticize China, so
sure.
Businesses do not want that to happen. So, and I mean, you could argue that we know for a fact that Blizzard is doing this, but Tencent as a company, we don't really know. But I mean, Riot's definitely had some issues too. So, like I just remember there was a guy that I worked with where he was like, "Yeah, I'm not willing to die on the hill of a chicken sandwich." I'm summing that up, but like, just there was a certain point where he was like, "I just can't waste my energy fighting every single battle." Because you would, I mean, if you really knew what everyone does, you probably wouldn't support anything. Like, there'd be like one vacuum repair store in downtown city somewhere that you would support, but everywhere else you'd be like, oh, you guys are just as bad as everywhere else. We just don't know about it.
Oh yeah, I mean, you see it in all the time in politics and everything.
Where you're like, none of you people are good. What is?
Well, I mean, I work with a guy who sings the praises of the Republican Party and like everything that George Bush has done, and I'm like, dude, they are just as. I mean, they might be even worse than the people that. I'm like, at least the people that you don't like admit to the things that you don't like. I mean,
yeah, they're not like pretending.
Sure.
Well, it's like you said, because like I think we both lean a little bit conservative on stuff, but you're not blind to the fact that everybody's evil in some way.
I think Trump pretty much sums it up, and conservatives get mad at me for saying it because they're like, "Oh, what do you think? What do you think about 2024?" I'm like, I do not want Trump running again. And they're like, "What?" I was like, he's a big mouth. He's very he's just not what you want in a president. I'm like, and when you think about the other conservative people, I'm like, they're just as bad. I mean,
yeah, there needs to we need to do a different podcast to talk about different things like that.
Sure.
But yeah, it's funny though. Like, you are in a unique situation where, it's like maybe we'll do another podcast where we talk about real world issues.
I mean,
I mean, not that anyone's going to get mad saying that Trump's not the best person to lead. I don't think a reasonable person is get to be like, oh yeah, that's a hot take.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, anybody that you support, unless it's God himself, are going to have flaws. I mean, so, but I guarantee there's some atheists out there like, oh no, God has flaws too. So, I mean,
right.
So who knows, man?
Let's see. But yeah, so Hearthstone, if you do buy packs, they're doing the Fireside Gathering thing where you can create your own Fireside Gathering and open your packs early. So if you want to get a jump start on the disappointment,
yes,
now is the time. Now there's a part of me that wants to buy them to see if they'll be like, oh man, Ross didn't buy packs the last couple times, and now he has. We better crank up the legendary dial for him.
Maybe.
Because that would be nice.
Maybe.
All right. Well, that's all I got. I just really wanted to talk about hitting legend and like some of the stats on it because I was surprised. Because when I got done,
brag about yourself.
A little bit, but it was more like, well, the fact that I had a 71% win rate with like a fairly simple to play deck kind of kills the bragging aspect of it. But
sure.
I thought that my win rate against Warrior would have been I thought it would have been 50-50 at best. I also would not have guessed that I won 71% of my games. So, because I knew that I had like the tracker running, but I didn't want to look at anything because I didn't want to like psych myself out.
Yeah.
So, and I would like to thank my win right before I got legend. I ran into someone playing some kind of bizarre priest deck.
Yeah.
That wasn't good at all. And I really appreciate that they basically just gave me a free win. I'm assuming they might have been trying to do the Divine Spirit Inner Fire priest deck or something.
Oh.
But the problem is Hunter has Hunter's Mark and drops your big minion down to 1 before you can attack with it, and you can't do anything. And then on turn 6 you die. So
sure.
you're like, you better do it quick. All right, you want to move on to wrestling real quick to wrap up?
Yeah, real quick because we've been talking for a while.
Yeah.
Rave about a lot of
This is a great mod.
Sorry, I had the bumper going, so whatever you said about Jason Momoa.
You know what? Jason Momoa's great mod. That's all you need to know.
That's fair. He is a well-built man. So, I don't think WWE did anything crazy this week. Like they didn't release like the rest of the roster or like
Oh no!
send anybody into space.
They just continue to prove that Roman Reigns is the only thing good on WWE. So,
So I watched SmackDown for just a few minutes last night.
Yeah.
Like I was eating some food while I was at work, and I was like, "Oh, let's check out SmackDown." And I was like listening to, I think it was Charlotte Flair was doing a promo or something,
okay.
and it just seemed like everything they showed, like right before that and during that, it felt like they piped in crowd noise real bad. And like
That's how it was with the Usos, because they were talking and the fans were chanting, "We're the one," or whatever. I don't know, whatever they're saying is.
yeah.
And it didn't seem real. It seemed like it was being piped in.
Like, was it based on like it did not look like the crowd was actually doing anything?
Yeah, it didn't look like the crowd was saying it.
Okay. So what I thought was weird during the Charlotte promo is one, like the lights were super dim on the audience, which I don't remember them doing a lot for promos. Like I don't know if that's a Charlotte thing where she gets a spotlight. Maybe I just.
Well, no, because it was dim for the Usos. Maybe it's a new thing that they're doing.
Are they? So this is a little bit conspiracy, but are they now dimming the audience so it's less noticeable if they pipe in noise that you can't exactly see what the audience is doing?
Or less noticeable that no one's at their shows, because WCW used to do that, dude.
Yeah, I think WWE is still probably getting good enough. Like I follow the Wrestle Tickets account or whatever that shows like crowd sales or whatever. They're still doing good. Yeah, they're still doing fine. Now it's going to take years for them to have like a major decline that forces anything. Everybody will be wearing mouse ears before then. Referring to them being sold to Disney. I still want that.
Pretty strong.
Yeah. I can't wait. Because if they'll be like, well, the Undertaker was a great character. Let's bring him back. Wait, that's like I can trust. Be like, I promise you, we've tried that. it did not go well.
I can't wait until Disney puts their own Kathleen Kennedy in charge of the WWE product, and it just is terrible.
Well, I saw someone was asking a question the other day, like comparing lighting between like WWE and AEW, and WWE's lighting. We talk about this occasionally. Like their production, their lighting, everything is definitely a higher quality than AEW.
Yeah.
But that doesn't, like, I prefer the look of AEW better.
AEW has the old-fashioned look.
Yeah, like, it looks more like a wrestling look.
Yeah.
So, all right. So,
but there's AEW storytelling is, well, we can talk about it. It is garbage compared to WWE.
There was, I'm guessing they pulled a clip because Eric Bischoff was on Renee Paquette's show. And he was like, the thing is, like, the way they headlined that, like, he was talking about, like, WWE, AEW, and everybody else in wrestling. Like, the way they do storytelling is not good. Where it was like AEW is slightly better than WWE, but they're not really.
I rank AEW storytelling with ECW. I don't know if you remember ECW back in the day before WWE bought them.
Right.
ECW storytelling, I mean, they had like Shane Douglas's franchise storyline, but mostly it was like all over the place.
Yeah.
And you didn't know what was going on at the time, but you're like, oh, this is cool because they're throwing people through tables and tires.
Right. Yeah, like the action is good. Yeah, it feels like AEW does a little bit more subtle. I don't know how to put it because like you can look into it a lot, but if you're just like a casual fan, I don't know how much the story jumps off to you.
Sure. Whereas like when WCW was rocking the NWO in the early on, their storytelling was really good, and then towards the end when they were falling apart, it was just so chaotic you couldn't follow it. So.
Which is like, did it get chaotic because there's too many people involved? Like, what happened to cause the chaos? But
sure.
I mean, like for myself, like the AEW stuff I still find better than WWE for sure. But like
Sure.
Roman, for example, although it does like even as someone who's like super casual, his stuff feels like it's starting to get a little bit stale.
Yeah.
And then poor Sami Zayn got obliterated apparently by Brock Lesnar, and then Roman just comes out and spears him.
Yeah.
It's like I would like better for Sami Zayn, but
Sure.
what can you do? So Dynamite, the Gas South Arena. That sound like I didn't think that was right first. Hangman is no good on commentary.
No, he's not.
Now I did not expect that Hangman was going to be on commentary the entire night. There's zero chance that I thought that was going to happen, but I was hoping, because again,
Hangman,
like once you have like someone like CM Punk on commentary, like the bar gets set a lot higher.
his promo. I mean, his promos are far superior than someone like Jungle Boy.
Right.
But I mean, his promos are not really all that great either. So.
Right. Well, I mean, he's basically just like your straightforward good guy,
Sure.
which is fine. Like,
Sure.
because people are into it. But yeah, like he's not gonna be busting zingers and just adding a lot. Like, I don't think he's not a commentary guy. So,
Sure.
and then, I mean, I think if he's like ever turns bad guy, I mean, you can tell he can do a better promo probably, but
Sure.
he hasn't. All he's had to do is be like super straightforward at this point.
Well, and I think being a good guy is harder.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just you have to have the right. I don't know.
You got to be
Charisma.
the right stuff around you as well. But I mean, he's super easy to believe is like he's probably not that bad of a dude in real life.
Sure.
I mean, he stays off social media pretty heavily. So other than like
true.
a few things here and there, like you don't hear from him a ton. So, but okay, Bryan Danielson and Five have their match. I mean, there's zero chance that Allen's going to beat Danielson in this match, but you're basically watching it to see the match, to see, yeah. And Danielson, well, he really doesn't do anything super horribly heelish. He's very unlikable in the way he does it, to an extent. One of the guys,
Which I think it's a good alternate. I would like to have seen what Moxley could have done with it, because I think Danielson is playing the Moxley part.
Oh yeah,
Because I would like to have seen what Moxley would have done with it, but Danielson's good at it.
It would already be ultra violent, is what my guess would be. But yeah, I think he probably would have done. I wonder if, because the thing is, like, the venues have been booked for a while. Like, they didn't just like, oh, we need to go to the gas station arena or wherever they're Gas South Arena in Duluth. Like, that was booked for a while. Did they? And I don't know if it was on like the Brian Alvarez guy or who it was, but like, it's awful convenient that they've had such a streak of Dark Order members being in their hometown for this whole thing.
Yeah, sure.
So,
so the Dark Order was going to be the
was going to get ran
boys.
through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to talk to the Dark Order guys and be like, so were you slightly relieved that Moxley wasn't going to be the one running through you, and it was going to be Brian, where it was just going to be a stiff match, as opposed to you were probably going to be murdered?
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it'd be like what they were saying is like it'd be real interesting to find out like if this was planned or did it just a happy accident where it was like, wait a minute, we got Dark Order hometowns in a row coming up. Yeah. Let's do this instead. Like, it feels like that's got to be a planned thing.
You would think it's planned, but who knows?
Because I mean, it definitely makes Brian a little extra bit of a heel. Because I mean, honestly, Moxley throwing around the Dark Order might have been like, yeah, this is pretty sweet. He could have got cheered, but doing it in the hometowns, in the way they set it up, We'll see. Maybe Moxley will be back and he can be like the next contender or something.
Sure.
But yeah, so I guess they had like you can't touch him stipulation, which is good. But
what I wish they would announce that type of stuff on TV, because I don't know if they're doing it through their accounts.
They mentioned it.
Before party stuff.
I think they mentioned it at the beginning when he was coming out.
Gotcha.
To the what's it called? Like for the commentary, I think it was mentioned there or somewhere along the way they talked about it. But yeah, it wasn't like they didn't make much of a production about it that I saw.
They need to.
So Miro went into the white zone or something.
So I missed this promo. I was talking on the telephone, so I saw that he was like in some kind of whiteness. What's going on there?
So he's very angry.
Okay.
And so here we go. Like, I'll just read what they have here. Is like, my God, the lines have been drawn. I was looking for love, but now I only have fear. The second one I will embrace. This is the word of the Redeemer. So I assume he's just going to really murder people now.
Okay.
Which is fine.
Yeah, like
he's,
you said, are they doing a pro where they're going to set up him and God fighting, or where are they going with this?
I do not think God has been future endeavored from WWE yet, from his tag team with Shawn Michaels.
Sure.
All right, but it was super weird, like the Miro and the white background stuff.
No.
And if he hadn't been built up the way he has, I probably would have rolled my eyes at it. But
sure.
Because like Miro's just like a psychopath now.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, that's awesome. Like,
sure.
But I can definitely see if they didn't time that right, good chance I wouldn't have cared for it at all. So
sure.
All right, we got CM Punk and Lee Moriarty with MJF in his Hanukkah suit.
Yeah,
I think he wore that last year, but it is the most out of place thing that I see him wear.
No, that's great. I love it.
I thought this match was really good.
I do like how CM Punk, well, not CM Punk, MJF is really playing up. Like, look at him. Punk is out of shape. He's old.
Yeah,
it's taking him forever to beat this chump type thing.
Right. Which, the one thing I don't care that they do it to QT because whatever, but like Lee Moriarty, there needs to be. This would be my opinion, because MJF buried Lee Moriarty a ton. It'd be nice to see them have a match and it take just as long for MJF to put him away as it did Punk. Sure. Like I don't expect Lee to come in and beat MJF or anything, but that, or maybe Lee eliminates MJF from the Battle Royal, like the Dynamite Diamond ring thing.
Sure.
Or
because Lee has a cool moveset.
Yeah,
he's a cool name.
I love the way he does the. He uses like the body press. Like that's what sticks out to me the most for some reason.
Sure.
Where it's just like, that is a cool way of doing it. Or maybe it comes down, I don't even know if he's going to be in the Battle Royal, but maybe him and MJF are the last two, so then they have the match, and then it takes MJF, a long time to beat Lee Moriarty. Which, again, he gets beat, but it proved, like, oh, you couldn't do any better than Punk.
Yeah, so hopefully he gets some kind of redemption.
Yeah, because I feel like they would probably do something like that, where he at least gets one up on MJF in some way at some point in time. Or, I mean, down the line. But, it was a real good match. They did get me the way MJF was talking about it. To a couple of the near falls, it was like, wow, he might actually win. Like, they tricked me.
Sure.
Even though I thought there was zero chance, all of a sudden I was like, there might be a chance. But yeah, then MJF is threatening Punk's dog, which
dumb.
Well, the thing is, like, I heard some people, they're like, well, I just don't see how that would make you that mad. And it's like, I feel like you're not a dog person, because if someone threatened my dog, like, especially like terminating my dog,
Sure.
I would be ready to fight. Like,
Yeah, but you can't do it. I mean,
Right.
I suppose you could, but you're going to have a lot of lawsuits.
Well,
But
yeah.
you're not. They're going to have anything where they're going to actually hurt a real dog. So
Right.
that's why I think it's dumb. So
Right, but just from like from him saying things to mess with Punk, like that's definitely something that would draw me into wanting to fight him.
Sure.
But so I'm guessing we're getting Wardlow CM Punk first.
Thank God. I hope they switched Wardlow to have him to do a power bomb. Hope that's going to be his new move, because that stupid F10 that he does is terrible.
Yeah, the F5 is fine because the F5 you can control. The F10 is just a hip breaker with extra steps. Like that's all it is.
So I hope someone said, "Hey, man, people really like your power bomb," and no one does it anymore. Do power bombs,
Right.
So.
Yeah, you know who could do a power bomb? Will Hobbs. That'd be good. Like, but yeah, if he makes...
See, I don't mind his spine buster, because
it's
if I get
good.
spine buster by him, I can see that actually hurting. So
Right. The trying to think. Let's go. But yeah, so I guess I would assume Wardlow and Punk. I think that'll be a good match.
Could be.
Like Wardlow doesn't do a lot, but everything he's done I've felt has been pretty good. For the most part. Let's see. You got some Adam Cole being angry. He basically
AEW should make him a good guy, because he's way over.
Yeah, people want to cheer for him. I
Yeah.
think we'll get there. But first, the Elite has made a mistake, because they are now involved with the Best Friends. So, if we're lucky, Adam Cole can turn face sometime in 2023 when this feud's over.
Yeah.
After they have like a razor blade match or something.
You already know how I feel about this match.
Yeah.
Anything with the Best Friends.
Yep.
Even half best friends. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting because what the Super Click can do with Orange Cassidy should be interesting to see. We'll just have to see how things go. I mean, it's something for him to do. I assume they're going to win this one since they just lost to Jurassic Express. But Wardlow does, as you said, power bombs a dude into the mat, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I had high hopes that AC Adams was really going to win this match, but
You think there was somewhere who actually thought, like, legitimately thought, like, this is where they're going to do something weird to Wardlow for some reason. They're going to have him lose to this guy.
no.
No, you don't think,
I
no
never-
one on Earth.
Maybe because there was a time when I was a younger person and didn't really understand the concept of what wrestling was.
Yeah,
When
where
you saw the jobbers come on there, you're like, oh yeah, maybe he could beat
this guy.
$1 million man here.
Nope.
Yeah,
But you get an extra $100 when the $1 million man beats you. So,
sure.
all right. So we got a big match with Sting and Darby against the Gun Club, the Billy
Now,
and Colton version.
My sister's a big Sting fan. She did not like Sting's face paint. Did it bother you?
It felt very much like Chapel from Image Comics and
Okay.
Spawn to me.
Yeah.
I think he just went with like a more Darby, like, because they seem to like blend their face paint and style for when they both have a match together. So, yeah, it was definitely not like, I wasn't a huge fan of it. Like, it just looked weird on him.
It didn't bother me.
Because like, I get that I have liked other hybrids that they've done better than that one, but it was fine. Like, it didn't take me out of anything. Although the around the lips was definitely weird, like because it had like the skull teeth style.
Yeah. I do like how AEW's team Darby with Sting, because they make Sting look really good. Or
Yeah.
Darby makes Sting look really good because Darby does all this suicidal stuff. Gets
Right.
the fan pumped.
Yeah, like the crazy dive onto Billy Gunn where he actually bounced off him was amazing.
I wonder how that went down. Like, did Darby say, "All right, so during this match, I'm thinking about just running right into you and just bouncing off your body. Are you okay with that?"
Billy
Yeah,
Gunn
sure,
was
good.
like, "Yeah, I'll just stand there. I mean, if you knock me over, that's fine." Like,
'Cause they say in real life Billy Gunn is kind of a badass. So,
I believe it.
yeah, they say he's a really tough dude. So, who knows?
I mean, he's super big.
Yeah.
He's definitely pretty jacked, and then I'm sure he has that like old school mentality. So,
Well, not to say Sting is a giant, but I mean, yeah, I mean they were right in commentary having Sting look up to Billy Gunn. I'm like, man, Billy is just a big dude.
yeah. Well, I mean, like I think Sting is kind of in like if Sting was in the shape that Billy Gunn is in, you'd realize like, dude, Sting was massive, but he was just around other massive dudes.
Well, his tag team partner was Lex Luger, so
Well, Luger
I mean-
and that brief run with Warrior when they were
Yeah,
the
so,
Blade
I
Runners
mean-
or whatever. Yeah, like you just don't realize because like Billy Gunn until he got away from WWE, you didn't realize he was a monster.
sure.
Like,
Well, I noticed. I remember watching TNA back in the day and seeing Scott Hall and Kevin Nash wrestle in one of the matches,
yeah,
and just seeing how big Scott Hall and Kevin Nash are compared to like the TNA roster back in the day.
yeah.
I mean, they were just giants.
Yeah. Well, and it's weird because you're like, oh, Razor's not that big, but
Yeah.
it's because he was always around like Diesel or somebody like that. You don't really
sure.
be like, oh, he's a monster on his own right.
Sure.
But yeah, so Sting and Darby get the win. I don't think that's much of a surprise. I did think there was a possibility that Gun Club would cheat and win just to keep their streak going, of being undefeated. But I mean, I'm not sad. Like at the moment, they're not going to be like world beaters or anything like that. So them losing the streak to Darby and Sting is better than, I don't want to say nobody's, but like some new tag team. Like if they were to just lose the streak to that. So if it's like, we don't know when you would lose the streak, but what about losing it to Darby and Sting? Yeah, that's a better option than the unknown, I think.
Pretty Peter and whoever else.
Yeah, like we're gonna have you get beat by the wingman. Like I don't think there's any shame in the way they lost this match. But yeah, so I mean I don't know if this was just to get Sting in another match or what it was, but I mean I was entertained by it for sure.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do with it. Are they going to continue this feud with it or what? So.
Yeah, like if that's the end of it, and they'll have to bring in a third person to fight the full power of the Gun Club. Let's see. Jericho gets beat up by 2.0, which is fine. I like 2.0.
I like 2.0 and Garcia.
Yeah,
I think they're a good heel group.
They're not like my favorite team, but I definitely like if they were to get like a big moment, I would probably cheer for them. I'd go right back to booing them, but I'd be happy for them.
They need a well, especially if they're going to go up against the what they call the inner circle.
Yeah.
They're going to need more people to take on the inner circle because the inner circle has more.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like they're gearing up for Kingston and Jericho to team up against them, but I wonder if they add a third person into it on that side.
Well, because Kingston had a faction with Proud and Powerful back in the day.
Yeah.
So I wonder.
They take Jericho
Kingston,
out and.
Yeah, and see, I wonder if they're setting that up.
That's an interesting bridge to get to that, but it would make sense.
Because on Instagram, Santana has been teasing that. He's been showing old photos of Kingston and Proud and Powerful together. So
that'd be good. Like,
yeah, because I think the inner circle has played it. I think it's won its course. I think it's time to.
Yeah, well, and they can still be
fresh meat
technically
in there.
considered a group, but like they're still affiliated with each other, but they're not the group that they once were. Putting them with Kingston and Santana and Ortiz together, though, that might give them something good to do.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like, because they'll definitely get their time, I think. There's no way. Like, they're too good.
Yep.
Let's see. Yeah, Leo Rush came out and did a thing. I just don't care. Like,
because it's associated with Team Taz.
Well, like, I'm interested in it, but that particular arguments with Taz, I just don't care for those segments. Taz cutting a promo, excellent. Taz arguing back and forth with somebody, no. And I just realized during this broadcast of Dynamite that Taz no longer has a mohawk.
Yeah.
I don't think he's had one forever. But it, like...
Could have been,
yeah. So we got Statlander and Ruby, quarterfinal match. I thought this was a really good match.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't sure who was going to win, but I thought they did an excellent job. I saw some people weren't super high on it, but I thought it was, like... I was I was definitely into it.
Yeah, I think you either need Ruby or you need... what's her name? Forget her name.
Jade?
No. Well, I mean, Jade'd be good. I think, actually, Jade would be a good... Didn't you have two heels?
Right.
Having the belt. What's her name? I forget her name. The half face paint.
Oh, Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa, yeah. I could think of her name, yeah. I think Thunder Rosa would be good.
Yeah, to win it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be like, if Ruby wins it, that's fine. Thunder Rosa wins it, that's fine. Soho wins it. Really, Nyla could win it, that's fine. Like,
yeah.
I think the final, getting to the finals, I think we're gonna have the two quarterfinals or semifinals or whatever. I don't know how tournament brackets work. I think that the total of 3 matches, including the final, we're gonna have some really good women's matches.
I think,
assuming the Jade match isn't just a total squash.
I think Warner Brothers should call Jade, and actually, it should be Marvel.
Yeah,
Marvel should call Jade, and I think she should be Storm, because she's exactly what Storm would be in my mind.
Yeah, minus the lightning powers.
Well, sure.
Wind, yeah, that's fine, but I don't know about lightning in wrestling. I think somebody's got that trademark. Yeah, she's. I'm real curious because I would assume the Thunder Rosa match, because she's had 1 or 2 competitive matches, but mostly she's just squashed people. I think Thunder Rosa is going to get a good match out of her.
I think they.
I could be wrong, but Thunder Rosa has had a lot of good stuff.
I think she's from the factory, isn't she?
Jade?
Well, I mean, when I say the factory, I mean QT and Cody's been training her, right?
I believe so.
And I think they've put all their eggs in one basket, just to say, with her. I think that she could be a future star.
I mean, she has the look for sure.
Yep. And the personality.
Yeah,
the whole that bitch thing.
Yeah. It's a little rough around the edges.
Yeah.
But you can tell it's there. I like Mark Sterling with her as well, because he's that extra bit of sleaze to it, but I don't think he's a permanent fixture.
Yeah, see, I could do without him. I think you just get rid of him.
I like him, so I'm okay. It makes sense where if she's about money and he is facilitating things for her. Okay. I mean, and he's not bad at talking either, so he can. Basically, it's gonna help you out. I'm out there in case things get off the rails.
That's true.
Kind of like the old Mean Gene role, where Mean Gene would guide people through stuff sometimes. I think that's his purpose.
Yeah, I mean, he does play lackey pretty good. So
yeah. So, not that I'm trying to sell you on Smart Mark Sterling, but I feel like the pairing, it's a little bit odd, but it works.
Well, the only thing is I don't think they've really. I don't want him being the same level as Jade. I want her to kind of dominate in personality type. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Well, and I think she
want
does
him
that because she's
Well, yeah.
bigger than like
Well,
I,
I'm saying,
I don't know if he's like a small dude or if she really is that big.
Yeah.
She's because seeing people in person, like Britt Baker doesn't look big on TV, but I bet if you go and get a dentist appointment with Britt Baker, you'd be like, you are a lot bigger than I thought you were, like just from muscle mass. I'd be curious to see Jade in person to be like, wow, you were way bigger than I thought.
Sure.
All right, we get the crazy street fight. Poor Arn Anderson cannot catch a break. He almost dies at the beginning of the match.
I saw that. Did he just trip?
Yeah, he
Is that
just
what
like
happened?
backed up and fell. John Silver, I think, almost ate it on that corner too.
Yeah.
And if you've watched any of the Dark tapings from Universal when they have those,
Yeah.
it comes out and there's like a ledge and then stairs to the side. And just about everybody who comes out gets confused. So
They put some lights on it or something.
I don't know, but I felt bad. Like it looked like it worked out okay for Arn, but it's still scary.
Well, I noticed Andrade's lackey guy
Helped him out.
ran over, and he was pretending to like beat up Arn, but you could tell he was actually, "Oh, are you okay, buddy?"
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming they were supposed to fight, but
Yeah.
he probably took it on himself to make sure that Arn was okay and get him out of that situation.
Which I would too. I'd be like,
Yeah.
okay, well the cameras are on me anyway. They're on Cody and Andrade, so I'm going to
Yeah.
go there to help Arn out.
Well, I mean, that's like if he wasn't supposed to go and attack Arn,
Yeah.
that was either good thinking by him, or if he
Yeah.
was like standing by Andrade and Andrade was like, go help him, like
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like, however it worked out well.
Yeah.
So, did you like this match?
I didn't like the ending, but everything else, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically them just beating each other up. Andrade's amazing in the ring. They did the fire spot, which explains why it looked like Cody was peeling from a sunburn.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I'm like, did he just get crap like feathers in there or something? What's going on there?
Well,
And then I was like, well, maybe he had a really bad sunburn.
Yeah, like that was what it went to me. Some people were like, "Oh, I knew what it was right away," and be like, "Maybe,"
No.
but I don't think so. Now, would you see the ending come up? Yeah, it's obvious what it was, but
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't understand why he would have that. And I was like, I guess it's just a bad sunburn, but I thought he used a tanning bed. And it's like, who knows? Cody's a weirdo.
If the whole point was to be, I don't know. I just don't like because he ate it. So it's like he's the one that took the brunt force of all that.
Well, I think that's because
And
they set the table up a little bit too close.
Oh, yeah, it could be.
The
I don't know. I didn't like the ending.
what you really need to know is think how devious. They could go two ways with this. Think how devious Cody is, though. He planned, like, based on, like, I guess, kayfabe. So he comes out with, like, fire protectant gel on his back because he knows his plan is to put Andrade through a table that's on fire.
Yeah.
Like, that's premeditated. That's not like
Sure.
in the heat of the moment, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, he prepared basically a massive degree of assault against Andrade.
I would like to think they're going that far with Cody's character, but I don't think they are.
Because there's no way that like people in the back didn't see how bad it was peeling up, so it would tip off that something was up.
Sure.
Although it looks like from the pictures, he still got burned up pretty good.
Sure. Well, sure.
Because someone was like, "Look at this! Andrade does a sliced bread number 2 to Cody through the table."
Well, and what's his name? Devon, not Devon, the other Dudley guy,
Bubba,
Bubba.
Brother
he
Bubba.
Said, he was saying that that's a hard spot to do.
I
He would
hate
know.
I hate that Cody does the reverse suplex off the top. It always looks weird. It always makes me worry that somebody's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
And going through a table seems like basically like Cody has to take the brunt of it, kind of.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I thought it was okay. I like that he's basically booed by a lot of people through the whole match. But as soon as Fire comes out, everybody's like, well, maybe Cody's not so bad till next week. But next week, we're going to hate him again.
If you're trying to make him popular, do not put Brandy out there, because Brandy is not going to bring the good guy heat.
Yeah. She is definitely, for whatever reason, like, more than
Which
dislike.
is fine. I don't understand why you don't use that. I don't. I mean, are they that egocentric? Are their egos that high that they like love me? I got to be loved. Don't hate me.
But the thing is, like, as soon as he goes like bad guy, he's going to get cheered. Like, he's not going to get the right reaction right now, no matter what he does.
Sure.
So, all right.
But you would get booed if you keep Brandy with you.
Him and QT.
Yes.
QT comes back into the fold. That'd be funny.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. Well, I think we can wrap it up there.
Yep.
Rampage happened. Check out the Tony Nese match. That was pretty good.
Yep. And Malachi did stuff, which is cool.
Yes.
Anytime Malachi does
Yeah.
stuff, so.
He gave a kiss to Pac's eye. Jeez, oh Pete. Because like I heard the commentary to it where he was like, oh, he blew it in his eye, but I wasn't looking.
Yeah.
So I like rewound it and I was like, oh, they weren't kidding. Jeez, oh Pete. Short of like pulling out a straw, there's not much more in the eye you could do.
I wish they would explain that. So is that like some kind of black venom that he's spewing from the nether regions of hell or something?
Well,
I wish they would talk
going
about
back to Tajiri, because he black misted Nydia, and that blinded her. So I think Muda used black mist to blind people, but I'm not sure. But I think wrestling canon, it's kind of like kryptonite. Different colors do different things. So black mist will blind you.
Yeah.
I would assume red mist will change your powers. Gold mist just kills you. The green mist just kind of weakens you.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's other variations, like purple mist probably does something. But
AEW really should do that. It should release the power of the
like
mist.
the official table of mist.
Yes.
That would be fantastic.
Like, instead of this being out here where it's kind of up in the air, here we're going to make this canon.
Yeah,
Bam! Here's the black mist, green mist. Yeah.
We'll tweet Alistair and be like, can we get like what effect each mist has? Because black is clearly blindness. Green is just like messes with you. Yep. Like, what do these other colors do? So, all right. Well, we'll wrap it up, but we will be back probably next week, and then we will talk about other things. Probably He-Man, for sure.
He-Man.